So, I let ChatGPT build my Path of Exile 2 character, and I gotta say, it's been surprisingly chaotic. And I was just the meat puppet in between, casting whatever spell the AI demanded. The idea was simple. I'd give enough context about PoE2's early access, so no wiki, no full passive tree, just total fresh content, and I let it decide how to build the character from scratch. So it chose everything from class, name, and build theme, even which skills to take and which quest rewards to go for. And at first, it started trying to reference PoE 1 builds, like suggesting the ritualistic ascendancy for which, can't be done. But once we narrowed things down, it really locked in on a theme. Stack chaos damage, so no crit, no minions, no defense, just pure purple spell spam. And hey, it actually works, mostly. I had a few moments where I decided to base tank something with 42 life, but what can I say? I paid for that. It also chose wand and nothing else, which I wasn't expecting, but honestly, it kind of fits the vibe. The name, ChatGPT went with Nixra, and I've stopped questioning things at this point. So for spell picks to quest decisions, ChatGPT made all the pivotal choices. I just hit buttons and tried not to die. Let's see how far this thing actually gets. So right after the intro, we ran into our first mini-boss, which was named Ira of the Rotten Pack. She does frost damage and summons a pack of wolves. The kind of fight that should have gone sideways for a fresh AI build, but honestly, it didn't. The Chaos Dot Spam absolutely handled it. Clean, smooth, and kind of shockingly effective. So obviously I assumed at this point I was stacked. And then I met Bramblegast. And that's the moment I remembered I don't have any armor, regen, or actually a plan. And I tried to face tank it, with immediate regret. One death later, I ran back to town, looked through the vendor window and told ChatGPT that there really wasn't much to buy, and naturally it said to spend all your gold. So I did. Came back stronger, a little poorer, and beat Bramblegast on round 2. Next up was Red Veil, and this is where the build really started clicking. Contagion plus Essence Drain, just melting everything, like actually satisfying levels of destruction. We dropped a few more points into spell damage and chaos multipliers and picked the persistent support gem for Contagion, which the AI said was to extend the pain, and I didn't argue. Then we took down the Rust King to complete the quest, and again, pretty clean. And that's when ChatGPT decided we should backtrack slightly to the Devourer quest, the one that most people do first. Hey, we were overleveled and it died in a few seconds, so I'll call that a win. Now to keep things moving, we jumped straight into another boss fight, this time the Grim Tangle against the Rotten Druid. This one took longer, it wasn't hard exactly, but it definitely felt like our first grindier encounter. The build held up though, big dots, slow burns, lots of running in circles like a tactical genius. Once that was done, ChatGPT reviewed all our options and handpicked a new support gem setup for Essence Drain. I didn't understand all the logic behind it per se, but things kept dying, so I wasn't going to argue. That led us to the Cemetery questline, which obviously has back-to-back bosses with Draven and Acinia. Both fights were manageable, with that slow, steady chaos pressure continuing to pull its weight. Unfortunately, I actually lost the footage of the big boss fight at the end with that Lachlan, which was supposed to be the final beat of that area. But to wrap this phase of the experiment up with a better bang, I entered the Ritual Zone before pushing on to Argon Farm, where I went toe-to-toe with the King in the Mists. It was a tense fight, not perfect. The build survived, and more importantly, I survived, which at this point is honestly more surprising. And on that point, just to clarify, if it's not already glaringly obvious, I am no pro at this game. This isn't a guide, nor is it a meta build. This is just me handing my character over to an AI and blindly following instructions. If something worked, that was probably luck. If something exploded in my face, that was also probably luck. But so far, this chaos build is weirdly effective, and I kind of want to see what happens next. So should we keep going? Main question, I suppose. It's a little different for us. Let me know in the comments. And of course, stay curious, stay creepy. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.